Here's the truth I need you to hear right now. The moment you start showing her that you care too much, she might pull away. And I don't mean because you did something wrong, or because you're too needy in some exaggerated sense. I mean because there's a real natural part of how women respond to closeness, and most men completely misread it. Look, I know this hurts to hear. You invest your attention, your time, your energy, and suddenly she seems distant, almost like she's disappearing. You're thinking, why would she pull away now when I'm showing her I care? And the answer isn't that she doesn't like you. It's that she reacts to closeness in ways that men rarely understand. Here's the thing. Women are wired to test emotional stability and consistency in men. When a guy starts caring in a way that feels intense or immediate, it can trigger uncertainty. It's not about manipulation. It's not about mind games. It's about emotional instincts that have been built into how women protect themselves and evaluate a partner. So if you're tired of feeling confused, frustrated, or like women are just playing games, it's time to understand the real psychology behind it. I'm going to break it down for you in a way that's simple, honest, and completely practical. You're going to learn why she pulls back, what she's feeling when she does it, and how you can respond in ways that actually work, without losing yourself in the process. By the end of this video, you'll stop guessing. You'll stop overthinking. You'll see the truth about how women behave when you start caring, and how you can navigate it without pushing her away further. This isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about understanding her perspective so you can connect on a level most men never reach. 1. She pulls away because intensity feels threatening. Here's something most men don't realize. When you start showing up with too much intensity too soon, it can actually scare her. And I don't mean she's a game player or that she's trying to hurt you. It's just how emotional wiring works. Women often need to feel safe with closeness before they fully lean in. When the care you give suddenly ramps up, it can feel overwhelming instead of comforting. Imagine this. You're texting her constantly, checking in to see how her day went, making plans, and expressing all the feelings you've been holding back. You're excited, invested, and fully present. But instead of pulling closer, she begins to respond less, takes longer to reply, or even seems distant. That sting of confusion hits hard because you were doing everything right from your perspective. But here's what's really happening. Your intensity is triggering an unconscious response. She starts to pull back to protect herself from feeling emotionally trapped before she's ready. Women often need space to process emotions. If she's feeling the weight of your attention before she's prepared to fully reciprocate, her natural instinct is to create a little distance. It's not rejection, it's a signal. It's her way of saying, slow down, let me catch up. It's also tied to desire. Paradoxically, pulling away can increase attraction, but only if it's balanced with a man who maintains his own life and emotional independence. What I want you to understand is this. Caring isn't the problem. Showing interest isn't wrong. The issue is how the intensity lands. When you give too much too soon, it can feel less like connection and more like pressure. From her perspective, it's not that she doesn't like you. She just needs to see that you're stable, consistent, and capable of being present without overwhelming her. So the key here is subtlety and timing. Let her feel your care without it smothering her. Maintain your routines, your confidence, your life outside of her. When she sees you as someone who's emotionally grounded, who doesn't crumble if she needs space, that's when her pullback becomes a moment of intrigue instead of anxiety. That tension, that's what keeps desire alive and allows connection to deepen naturally. 2. Independence isn't just a phase, it's a signal. Here's the truth most men miss. When a woman pulls back, it's rarely random. It's a signal, and it's usually about her need to feel safe and in control of her emotions. Independence isn't just a phase or a test for you. It's her way of keeping the balance in the relationship. She's not trying to punish you or play games. She's protecting her own emotional state. Women naturally value men who are self-sufficient and confident. When you suddenly become very attentive or emotionally available, it can upset that balance. She starts noticing that her emotional space is shrinking, and her instinct is to step back to regain it. That doesn't mean she doesn't like you. It means she wants to see that you can remain grounded even when she needs room. Think of it this way. If she sees you rearranging your life around her feelings or constantly checking in, she might begin to feel a little trapped. Even subtle signs of overinvestment can trigger that reaction. Independence for her is also about desire. A woman who feels like she can easily predict your every move loses a bit of intrigue. She wants a man who has his own energy, purpose, and life. Someone she wants to be with, not someone she feels responsible for emotionally. So when she pulls back, pay attention. Notice if she's creating space to breathe emotionally, mentally, or socially. That's her way of maintaining balance. It's also an invitation for you to show that you can handle your own emotions, maintain your life, and stay confident without needing constant reassurance from her. The stronger and steadier you remain, the more she will respect and desire that energy. Another key point, her independence is also a signal of how she measures your emotional maturity. Women are naturally intuitive. They notice when a man can respond calmly and consistently to her pullback versus when he panics, chases, or tries to overcompensate. How you handle this moment can either deepen attraction or push her further away. The takeaway? Independence isn't a threat. It's a message. Respect it, absorb it, and use it as a chance to show that you're emotionally capable. When you do, she'll notice, and the pullback will shift from a reaction of uncertainty to a subtle form of intrigue and attraction. 3. Women test emotional stability before commitment. Here's something you need to understand. When a woman pulls away, it's often her way of testing your emotional stability. This isn't some sneaky game. It's a natural way she figures out whether you're someone she can trust with her feelings over the long term. Emotional stability is more important to her than charm, looks, or even how much you care in the moment. When you start showing that you care deeply, she's watching closely to see how you react to her pullback. Will you panic, get needy, or try to force her closer? Or will you stay grounded, calm, and consistent? How you handle this moment tells her volumes about your character and your ability to handle challenges in a relationship. Many men mistake her distance as rejection, but it's really a filter. Women instinctively need to see that a man can remain steady under emotional pressure. This is why sometimes, even when she clearly likes you, she will pull away when your attention ramps up. It's not because she doubts her feelings. It's because she wants to see if your care is dependable and secure. Another reason she tests you is to gauge her own emotional comfort. Women have a complex internal balance. She wants closeness, but also needs space to feel free. By pulling back, she's giving herself room to process her feelings and make sure her attraction is genuine, not just a reaction to your intensity. This testing doesn't last forever, and it doesn't mean she's going to walk away. In fact, how you respond can make a huge difference. If you remain calm, maintain your own life, and continue showing consistent, confident care without overdoing it, you demonstrate emotional stability. That's incredibly attractive because it signals that you're someone who can handle challenges, communicate effectively, and respect her space. All qualities that women look for when considering commitment. Here's the thing. Many men fail at this because they confuse testing with rejection. They assume she's losing interest, when in reality, she's seeing if you're the kind of man who can handle life's ups and downs while still being emotionally present. If you understand that pullback is a test and not a judgment, you can respond in a way that actually strengthens the connection instead of weakening it. Emotional stability is magnetic. Women aren't drawn to desperation or over-attentiveness. They're drawn to a man who is confident, balanced, and capable of handling emotional moments without losing himself. That's the real reason she pulls away when you start caring. She's evaluating whether you're the kind of man worth investing in long term. 4. Too much caring can trigger unconscious fear. Here's a hard truth. Sometimes, the more you care, the more she pulls away. And it's not personal. It's about unconscious fear. When a woman senses intensity, especially early on, it can trigger feelings she doesn't even fully understand herself. She may start to feel overwhelmed, pressured, or uncertain, and the natural response is to step back. This fear isn't about you doing something wrong. It's about her perception of closeness. When she feels like her emotional space is shrinking too fast, it can feel like she's losing control. Women often need time to adjust to intimacy and connection, and when care comes on too strong or too fast, it can ignite anxiety instead of comfort. Think about it this way. Emotional intensity can be misread as neediness or dependency. From her perspective, even subtle signs of over-attachment, constant messaging, excessive reassurance, over-analysis of her feelings, can signal that the connection isn't balanced. Her pullback is a protective measure. It's a way for her to recalibrate, to regain a sense of autonomy, and to make sure she's not rushing into something she's not ready for. Another layer to this is that women are wired to assess security. She's checking if you're stable enough to handle closeness without letting it control your emotions. If she senses that your emotional highs and lows are directly tied to her responses, it can trigger fear. That fear doesn't mean she's rejecting you. It means she's evaluating whether the relationship can be sustainable without either of you feeling trapped or overwhelmed. Here's the key. Care itself isn't the problem. Being emotionally available, attentive, and present is attractive. The problem arises when the intensity overshadows balance. Women want to feel drawn to a man, not pressured by him. They need a rhythm where closeness and space coexist naturally. So, when she pulls away, don't assume it's a reflection of her feelings for you. Instead, understand it as a natural response to intensity. Step back, maintain your composure, and give her the space she needs. Show that your care is steady, not conditional or reactive. When you do this, you reduce her unconscious fear and create a space where attraction can grow stronger. Ultimately, a woman's pullback is rarely about rejection. It's about her feeling safe enough to invest emotionally. The more balanced and confident you are, the more likely she is to lean back in. And the deeper the connection can become. 5. How distance creates desire, and why it works. Here's the reality most men don't get. When she pulls away, it can actually increase her attraction to you, but only if you handle it the right way. Distance isn't rejection. It's a natural way for desire to build. Women often need a little space to realize what they feel and to feel the pull toward a man who isn't constantly in their orbit. I've seen this countless times. A guy starts caring deeply, checking in, planning everything, and showing all the signals of affection. At first, it seems like she's warm and engaged, but then she starts to retreat. He panics. He texts more, calls more, or tries to fix things. That's exactly what pushes her further away. But here's the twist. If he steps back, keeps his life moving, and maintains calm confidence, the pull suddenly reverses. She begins to notice him more, think about him more, and even miss him. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding psychology. Women respond to a balance between closeness and independence. Too much closeness too soon can feel suffocating, while a little distance allows her to process her feelings and appreciate your presence when you do show care. It triggers a natural curiosity and desire because she sees you as someone with his own life and stability, not someone whose happiness revolves entirely around her. Another reason distance works is that it gives her space to reflect on her own emotions. Pulling away allows her to identify what she actually wants and how she feels about you without external pressure. It turns what could have been a moment of anxiety into one of intrigue. When a woman feels drawn toward a man who isn't constantly chasing, her desire deepens because she feels it's a choice to be with him, not an obligation. Here's the key takeaway. When she creates distance, resist the urge to overwhelm her with attention. Instead, focus on being consistent in your life, stable in your emotions, and confident in your presence. Let her feel your care without smothering her. That's the sweet spot where attraction grows naturally. Women aren't complicated. They respond to patterns, balance, and consistency. By giving her space when she pulls away, you're showing her that your care is genuine, your confidence is real, and your value isn't dependent on constant reassurance. That's what turns pullback into a powerful tool for attraction, rather than a moment of fear or frustration. 6. What she's really thinking. When she pulls back. Let's be honest, when a woman pulls away, her mind is more active than most men realize. She's not sitting around thinking, how can I hurt him? She's processing her feelings, evaluating the situation, and deciding how much space she needs to feel safe emotionally. Understanding this is crucial if you want to respond in a way that actually works. One of the first things she's thinking is whether you can handle her distance. Women are naturally attuned to stability. If she pulls back and you panic, overreact, or beg for attention, she interprets that as emotional instability. But if you stay calm, maintain your life, and respond with quiet confidence, she sees a man who's grounded. That contrast is magnetic. It tells her that you're someone she can trust, someone she doesn't have to worry about controlling or managing. Another thought running through her mind is whether your care is consistent or conditional. She's figuring out if your attention is tied only to her presence or her responses. Women want reassurance that you're emotionally reliable, not that you're reactive. Pulling back helps her see the bigger picture. Whether you can maintain your value, your confidence, and your composure, regardless of her distance. She's also thinking about desire. Women feel desire through a combination of emotional safety and tension. If you respond to her pullback with panic or over-eagerness, that tension disappears. But if you respond with calm confidence, she experiences the subtle push and pull that naturally heightens attraction. She notices your energy, your independence, and the fact that you're not desperate for approval. That makes her want to lean in rather than push away. Finally, she's assessing whether the connection is worth her investment. Every pullback is her way of testing how much you value yourself and how capable you are of balancing closeness with independence. Women aren't drawn to men who overextend themselves emotionally. They're drawn to men who have boundaries, maintain their self-respect, and can show care without being overbearing. The takeaway is simple. Her pullback is not rejection. It's a moment for you to demonstrate stability, patience, and confidence. Understand what she's thinking and adjust your approach so that you're giving her the space she needs while showing her that you're emotionally solid and genuinely high value. When you do that, pullback becomes an opportunity for attraction to deepen instead of for frustration to grow. 7. The wake-up call. Grow, don't chase. Here's a truth that's going to sting a little, but you need to hear it. If you react to her pullback by chasing, over-texting, or trying to prove your worth, you're doing it wrong. Women can sense when a man's self-esteem is tied to their attention, and it's a huge turn-off. The pullback isn't just a test of her feelings, it's a wake-up call for you to step up emotionally. You see, when a woman pulls away, she's giving you a chance to reflect. Are you confident in yourself? Are you emotionally balanced? Can you handle tension without panicking? Most men fail here because they confuse action with value. They think the more they chase, the more they prove themselves. But attraction isn't about proving. It's about presence, strength, and self-respect. Women respect men who have their own life, their own priorities, and the ability to hold space for them without losing themselves. I've watched it countless times. A guy starts caring, she steps back, and he spirals. He overanalyzes texts, becomes overly available, and loses his natural energy. Instead of attraction, he creates anxiety. From her perspective, it's exhausting. What she wants isn't more effort. It's a man who can grow into his own value and remain steady. When you embrace this, something interesting happens. She doesn't just come back. She feels drawn to the man you're becoming. The real lesson here is growth. Her pullback is a mirror, showing you where you need to strengthen yourself emotionally. It's not about controlling her or manipulating her feelings. It's about showing her and proving to yourself that you can maintain balance under pressure. That self-assured energy is magnetic. It naturally draws women closer instead of pushing them away. So stop chasing. Stop trying to win her back with intensity or attention. Instead, focus on being the man who doesn't crumble when she needs space. Focus on your life, your purpose, and your growth. The more you invest in yourself, the more compelling your energy becomes. She'll notice. She'll respect it. And when she's ready, she'll come closer. Not because you begged, but because you became the kind of man she can trust and desire. This isn't just advice. It's a mindset shift. Pullback isn't rejection. It's opportunity. The question is, will you grow from it, or will you chase and lose her respect? The choice is yours. Here's the blunt truth. If you react to her pullback with panic, over-texting, or trying to force her attention, you're killing attraction before it even has a chance to grow. Women aren't drawn to desperation. They're drawn to balance, stability, and confidence. When you start caring and she steps back, it's not rejection. It's a test, a signal, and sometimes a mirror showing where you need to grow. The men who get this understand that pullback is an opportunity. It's a chance to show emotional maturity, to maintain your independence, and to demonstrate that your value isn't tied to her immediate responses. When you respond with calm confidence instead of chasing, desire grows naturally. She notices the difference between a man who crumbles and a man who stands steady, and that difference is magnetic. So here's what I want you to take away. Respect her need for space, understand her emotional signals, and focus on becoming the man she can trust and desire. Care deeply, but don't let your emotions control you. Grow your life, grow your confidence, and let her pullback fuel your self-improvement rather than your anxiety. I want to hear from you. What have you noticed when a woman pulls back after you start caring? Share your experiences in the comments. I'll be engaging with you because this isn't just theory. It's about real-life insight and growth. Remember, understanding her isn't about manipulation. It's about seeing the truth, responding wisely, and becoming the man who naturally inspires desire and respect.